Imagine waking up one day to find that everything you know, your home, your culture, your entire way of life, is gone forever. Cities that once shined with golden palaces now lie in ruins. Libraries filled with knowledge are burned to ashes, and the echoes of a once great empire fade into silence. For nearly 800 years, Muslims ruled Spain, building one of the most advanced civilizations of the Middle Ages. But in just a few decades, it all collapsed. How did a kingdom so powerful and so rich in culture come to an end? Stay with me as we uncover the dramatic fall of Al-Andalus, the lost Muslim empire of Spain. The story of Al-Andalus begins in the year 711 AD, when an army from North Africa, led by General Tariq ibn Ziyad, landed on the Iberian Peninsula. His forces, mainly composed of Berbers and Arabs, crossed the Strait of Gibraltar and quickly defeated the ruling Visigothic king Roderick at the Battle of Guadalete. With the Visigothic kingdom collapsing, Muslim forces advanced rapidly, taking control of key cities like Toledo, Seville, and Zaragoza. Within just a few years, nearly the entire peninsula was under Muslim rule, with only a few northern regions resisting. This marked the beginning of Al-Andalus, the Muslim-ruled territory in Spain. As Muslim rule established itself, Al-Andalus became a center of art, science, and culture, standing out as one of the most advanced civilizations in medieval Europe. Al-Andalus was home to some of the most magnificent cities of the medieval world. Cordoba became the capital and intellectual heart of Al-Andalus, often compared to Baghdad and Constantinople for its wealth and influence. Seville flourished as a trade and cultural hub, famous for its gardens, palaces, and thriving markets. Granada, later the last stronghold of Muslim rule, would be known for its breathtaking Alhambra Palace, one of the greatest architectural masterpieces in history. At its peak, Cordoba was the largest and most advanced city in Europe, with a population of around 500,000 people, a number that dwarfed most European capitals of the time. The streets were paved, illuminated by thousands of oil lamps, and had public baths, fountains, and hospitals. While much of medieval Europe was struggling through the Dark Ages, Al-Andalus was experiencing a golden age of knowledge. The Great Library of Cordoba, built under the rule of Caliph al-Hakam II, contained over 400,000 books, at a time when most European rulers couldn't even read. Scholars from across the Islamic world traveled to Al-Andalus to study in its madrasas, schools, and universities. Many important discoveries in medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy were made here. Great scholars like Averroes, Ibn Rushd, and Maimonides lived in Cordoba, translating and preserving classical Greek and Roman texts that would later help spark the European Renaissance. For centuries, Al-Andalus was a beacon of knowledge and culture, far more advanced than its European neighbors. But, like all great empires, it had its weaknesses. For a long time, Al-Andalus was ruled as a strong, centralized state under the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba. However, in the year 1031, everything changed. The Caliphate of Cordoba collapsed, and instead of one strong kingdom, Al-Andalus broke into more than 20 smaller states known as Taifa kingdoms. These Taifa kingdoms were weak and divided, constantly fighting against each other for power instead of uniting against external threats. Many Taifa rulers hired Christian mercenaries to fight against their Muslim rivals, which ironically helped the Christian kingdoms in the north become stronger. This division made Al-Andalus easy to conquer, because instead of one united defense, there were many small kingdoms competing with each other. These Christian kingdoms, Castile, Leon, Aragon, and Navarre, had spent centuries fighting small battles against Muslim rule. But now, with Al-Andalus weakened, they saw a golden opportunity to launch a full-scale war to take back Spain. This war was called the Reconquista, the Reconquest, and it lasted for nearly 800 years. One of the first major victories for the Christians came in 1085, when King Alfonso VI of Castile captured Toledo, a major city that had been under Muslim rule for nearly 400 years. The loss of Toledo was a huge psychological blow to the Muslims. It showed that the Christian kingdoms were no longer just fighting small battles, but were capable of taking entire regions. With every victory, Christian armies pushed further south, forcing Muslim rulers to retreat. As the Christian armies advanced, the rulers of Al-Andalus made a desperate decision. They invited a powerful North African Muslim dynasty, the Almoravids, to help them fight back. The Almoravids were fierce warriors from the Sahara Desert, known for their strict religious beliefs and military strength. In 1086, under their leader Yusuf ibn Tashfin, they arrived in Spain and crushed the Christian forces at the Battle of Sagrajas. After this victory, instead of simply helping the Taifa kings, the Almoravids took over Al-Andalus completely, ruling it under their own strict Islamic laws. At first, they were strong and managed to hold back the Christian advance, but soon, even they became weak and corrupt. In the early 12th century, another powerful Muslim dynasty, the Almohads, overthrew the Almoravids and took control of Al-Andalus. The Almohads were even more extreme in their religious policies, forcing people to follow their strict version of Islam. Many Muslims and Jews who had lived peacefully in Al-Andalus for centuries were now persecuted, leading to internal unrest. These constant changes in leadership created even more instability, further weakening Al-Andalus from within. By the early 13th century, Christian forces had grown even stronger, while Al-Andalus continued to suffer from internal struggles and weak leadership. The defining moment of the Reconquista came in 1212, at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. The Christian kingdoms of Castile, Aragon, and Navarre united under King Alfonso VIII of Castile and launched a massive attack on the Almohad forces. The battle was one of the largest of the entire medieval period, with tens of thousands of soldiers on each side. The Christian armies completely crushed the Muslim forces, breaking Almohad control over most of Spain. This battle was the beginning of the end for Al-Andalus. After this devastating loss, the Muslim kingdom continued shrinking, and one by one its cities fell into Christian hands. By the mid-13th century, almost all of Al-Andalus had been conquered. The only remaining Muslim territory was the small but beautiful kingdom of Granada, ruled by the Nasrid dynasty. Granada managed to survive for nearly 250 years as a vassal state, paying tribute to the Christian kings in exchange for peace. However, by the late 15th century, the newly united Christian kingdoms of Ferdinand and Isabella decided it was time to finish the Reconquista once and for all. This led to the Siege of Granada in 1492, marking the final chapter in the story of Al-Andalus. But its legacy still lives on, through its architecture, its influence on Spanish language and culture, and its contributions to the Renaissance and European scientific progress. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome content. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Catch you in the next one.